Well, hey guys, how is everybody? Hope you're well. I've been in there the last probably hour or two reorganizing. Ended up tossing 3 big busted up totes. Got most of my parts covered up, organized. Some of the saws we got in here, now some of these run and they're good. Others may just need minor things. That's a parts unit. This 2800 Poland tank leaks and pours on it. I thought it might have been the tank vent and tried to replace that. Tank held pressure, but as soon as I filled it up with fuel, it went to pouring out of the bottom again. So I don't know, maybe it's something with the seam. Kind of sucks because those saws ain't getting no easier to find. It is one of the high top saws. It's a 46cc version. Had some cylinder scoring, but it all cleaned up. But you know, when I got it back together, I think I made a video on it, a short showing it run, but we may have to figure that out. Maybe even look into just finding another tank for it, but be a future project. We got a little 250 here. I do plan on just getting that and tearing it down and seeing if I need to just leave it as a parts unit or try to fix it. It is missing a lot of stuff, but there's also still a lot there, and let's face it, those saws are right at $500 to buy new now. It's kind of crazy. From 300 to 500 in the course of 2 years. They sell pretty good on eBay too. And then we got an 024 Wood Boss. That thing pretty nice. It's straight gassed or something. I cleaned up a lot of transfer out of the cylinder. Got it back running. It's got carb issues. We'll look into that in a few later date. It's got one of the Tillotson and carbs with that composite impulse body on it. If you've worked on those, you'll know what I'm talking about. I probably just ended up putting a WT-192 on it and being done with it, but I did get rear plastic for it, but it come from Custom Saw Parts, and that guy takes everything apart before he sells them. The knob, the spring, and the little bracket was missing that locks it in, so we've got to come up with that, and that cover is really hard to find. It's a lot shorter than, say, an 026 or a 260 cover, although you can convert that plastic over to fit it, but as nice as that saw is, I'd assume just leave it alone. Leave it a 024 low top, but let's see. We'll move up the next shelf. This is a little Craftsman. Picked this up off a fella at the flea market. I bought this saw off of him. I gave him $20 for it and brought it home. Got it running with a piece of fuel line. It's an old Pioneer. But anyway, back to that. I've not even tried to fool with it. Pretty nice saw. Starter ropes pulled out of it. It's actually got a rubber gripped handle on it. That'll be one we may get out and try to get running. I think I give him $15 for it. He kept telling me he was going to bring it, and then one day he hollered at us and said, "Hey, I've got this old saw." And then this one, super easy. We was about to leave the flea market, and my wife spotted that from the car, and we had done spent all of our cash, and I said, "Well, what do you want for that?" He said, "I'll take $10. I said, "Give me 10 minutes to run down there to the ATM and get a little money, and I'll come back and buy it off of you." And I wouldn't have expected it to run. The chain's about rusted to the bar. He said, "Hey, you want me to fire it up?" And I said, "Nah, it's alright. I've got to put it in the car, you know." Lo and behold, that thing just fires up and runs good. But there's something up with the clutch, and the chain's all rusty, and we need to assess that. Those are cool little saws. I actually got this, belonged to a family member. He brought it and dropped it off like 4 years ago. I got it running. I don't know, I think he had told me just keep it as a parts unit. But I think he'd bought a new saw. You know, whatever it is, what it is. Got it running, but it wasn't running well. I think it may need re-ringed or something, but it's one of the Black & Decker saws, 3200 Mac, but it's been sitting here since. Whatever. Then we got this one, I think, from Simple Man on a trade, 009 steel. I think the coil wire's broke on it. It's about all that's wrong with it. I just keep forgetting they're here, guys. Need to do something with that. It's a real nice saw. Has about all the compression it ever would have. Then we just got some old home lights up here we picked up from the flea market. One of them was a saw. It got a lot of views. My wife's like it was guaranteed to run. Rope was pulled out of it. I gave the guy 20 bucks for it, probably more than it was worth, but it did run once I put a starter rope in it and a little tinkering. We got some 240s and, you know, just random saws. I should probably just do some giveaways and give some of these things away that I have extra of, but, you know, whatever. Then we have one of the little, I think they're like a Chinese home light. I don't think they're a real home light. I think I gave a guy 5 bucks for it. He said, there's the deal of the day, 5 bucks. It was missing the top cover. I said, well, hell, it's worth that for parts. This one come from that same flea market. It's a David Bradley in pretty good shape, but it's got spark issues. I pulled it down, cleaned the points. Still no spark, and it's one of the ones with the coil inside of the flywheel. You can get a chip to work on those, but it ain't the easiest thing to work in the world to do. Then we went over this Pioneer. It's like a 10 or 11 something, I don't know. I'm not gonna drag it out of there to look, but some of you guys will know exactly what it is by looking at it. It's got the primary mesh. We just bypassed that with a piece of hose and it fired up, sounded pretty good. And then down here, this is actually a Tecumseh. That saw's actually worth quite a bit, even being stuck and seized, because it's like, I think the name of it was Power Products, made Card engines. And that's basically what's shoved into that. I think it's like 100 and some cc card engine, but it's seized. I've never really tried to break it loose, but it's more of just a collection wall hanger kind of deal. This is the one that I'd called Franken-Mac. And how many of you know what that is? Very few, I bet, but yeah, someone will. I know exactly what it is, but we'll just see if anyone knows that watches this in the comments. This was Franken-Mac. It's a 1-71 block in it. I've had several different tank setups on it, several different intake setups. We need to get this out. This bottom tote, I'll get to that in a minute, but this is a 050 or 051 steel. It's completely seized anywhere it could be seized. I believe I could get it apart. We may look into that in a future video. I don't know when, but everything's there. And this big bottom tote, I've got like this whole side's full of this stuff, the big McCulloch card engine stuff. Then the rest of it's just random parts from, you know, Poland's and Johnsridge from like the late 90s, and just a little bit of everything, just random stuff. Let's see, this bottom tote, the bottom tote is just random, just junk that I didn't know if I wanted to throw away or not. Probably needs went through and tossed. That one's empty. And then this one, we've got a junked 455 Rancher. It is salvageable. And our 359 project that's had the bottom end redone. I'm undecided on how I want to go. It wasn't as easy as just putting a 268 cylinder on it, but I do have a 272 combination laying in there of piston and cylinder that I think we can make work. I've done machine work so far with the 268 cylinder and piston. It was a junked cylinder, but I took the machine work past where it was safe, or where you would have hung a ring and it still wouldn't clear. It's still locked close to 100 thousandths. You'd have to make some kind of big thick spacer to go under the cylinder to do it, and I'd just assume not do all of that, to be honest with you. But I do have a 272 52mm setup that I think I'm going to be able to make work with a steel piston and a Farmer Tech 272 jug. But bottom tote, that's all 266 stuff. I got everything but bearings to put a 266 together. There's actually a set of cases in there that someone else had rebuilt that I may get out and use. I'm undecided yet, but there'll be another future video, and then I may just end up letting all the rest of that stuff go. But in here is enough probably to build 2 if not 3 complete. I know there's one whole Pro Mac 1010 and then 2 Mac 1010s. I'm really wanting to do one as like a full tilt race saw, do machine work and everything on it. We'll just have to see. It'll be like this Husky 359, just a real long drawn out process if I do it. And this is just pretty nice. I kept it that my Poulan Pro 295 came in when I bought it. I swear I think this is just 350 Husky parts, and then this is a whole box of home light stuff. Probably enough in there to put together a couple home lights minus good cylinders and carbs and stuff. But anyway, this is probably a little long and drawn out. When I get my shop cleaned up, we may go through it and do something similar, but it's been a little busy. Figured I'd give you guys something to watch. But as always, thank you all. Y'all stay safe and have a great day.